Welcome back to EmpowerND Podcast. This podcast creates space for honest conversations about health, well-being, and community resources to help people in southwestern North Dakota live healthy, full lives. The EmpowerND Podcast is produced by Women Empowering Women, a nonprofit organization dedicated to connecting, supporting, and educating women to help them become the best versions of themselves. To become a member or learn more, visit wewnetwork.org. Welcome back to the EmpowerND Podcast. Today we're diving into a topic that affects every woman, but honestly doesn't get talked about nearly enough, and that's estrogen. We hear the word all the time, usually tied to hormones or menopause, but estrogen plays a much bigger role in the body than most people realize. It impacts everything from our mood and energy to our skin, sleep, and even how clearly we think. So, whether you're years away from menopause, right in the middle of it, or just starting to notice subtle changes, this conversation is really about understanding what's happening in your body and feeling more confident navigating it. So, we're joined by Megan from Urban Unwind. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
So, can you start by explaining what estrogen is and the role it plays in the body overall?
So, estrogen is our main reproductive hormone as women. And yeah, it supports pregnancies, it supports so many different things. It is one of our receptors in all of our cells, brain, heart, skin, hair, nails, bones. Oh man, where do we end, right?
Yep. So, why is estrogen so important for women's health beyond just reproduction?
Yeah, and I think all we view it as is a reproductive hormone, right? But I think a lot of us are starting to open up our eyes and our ears really to what estrogen does in our body. So it has protective mechanisms. So it protects our brain like 90% against dementia. And once we take that away from us is
Right.
typically when we start to have some memory loss and issues and cognitive issues. That's why a lot of women complain about brain fog is because the estrogen is getting a little lower. It has a lot to do with our bones. It helps with the building blocks basically of bones, osteoclasts. And it helps with our elasticity of our bones. Helps with our hair, skin, and nails, right? Which of course is a main thing for women, regardless. But yeah, it helps with the skin barrier, which is one our first protection against the outside world. So, which is a big deal. Helps with colon cancer rates as well. So it decreases those. So it helps all of the protection of our microbiome in our entire gut and then in our vaginal cavity and things. So the list goes on and on. Yeah.
It affects everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Joints. I didn't mention joints.
Yep.
It helps with the collagen and elastin in our joints. And that's why a lot of us get stiff as we get older. And
Right.
yeah. Yep.
So, how does estrogen naturally fluctuate throughout a woman's life?
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, estrogen doesn't really come onto the scene until we are going through puberty, right? So it starts to come on the scene then, rises during those years. It's at its peak during pregnancy. And then it kind of stabilizes after that. And then perimenopause, it is erratic and it's all over the place.
Yeah.
And then menopause, of course, it just drops off the face of the earth. So it is kind of it's a huge cycle, and it's always a guessing game, but yeah.
So, what does balanced or steady estrogen feel like in everyday life for women?
I think that it feels, I mean, that's a really great question because, like, again, it would be really nice if we had some wearable data. And I think there is coming out with that
Yeah.
to see exactly how we feel when our estrogen levels are very stable. But I think it's when we feel our best, right?
Yeah.
It's when everything is in balance, the progesterone is there, the estrogen is there, we are healthy as far as working out, sleeping, doing all of the things. And it's just, yeah, when we felt our best, whenever that happens to be for you.
The mental clarity, the brain fog kind of lifts.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
Yes.
So, steady estrogen, what does it look like? When estrogen levels are stable, what are some signs women might notice physically and emotionally?
Yeah, so I think like just feeling the greatest,
Right.
right? Like they are not quick to react. They are level-headed. They have the energy. They have the ambition. They have
Right.
no aches and pains, or at least little aches and pains. They are sleeping well. There's, just everything feels in sync, really.
Right. So, as estrogen begins to decline, especially during perimenopause and menopause, what are the most common symptoms that women experience?
Mood changes for sure is the number one thing. So I feel a lot of women come in complaining of anxiety, all of a sudden I'm just unable to handle things anymore,
Mm-hmm.
quick to snap, irritability, they feel like a nag, and they're just, they're not themselves again. They just can't seem to calm down or stop snapping at everybody. When that is, it's a different and sudden change in their mood and emotional liability. That's number one, I would say. Number two is the lack of sleep from the low
Right.
progesterone and the estrogen combined, which then just perpetuates the issue with the irritability and the emotional cycles. So yeah, anxiety is probably number one.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would think so too. What causes hot flashes and night sweats?
So that is really from the brain, right? So like our hormone regulation and all of that comes from the hypothalamus in our brain, and so when that starts to decline in age, there's vasodilation that happens in the rest of our body, and estrogen. The hypothalamus is really sensitive to estrogen, and estrogen to the hypothalamus. They work together. So when our estrogen starts to become erratic, is when the vasodilation happens, and then we get those vasomotor symptoms.
Right.
Which are hot flashes and night sweats. Yeah.
So why does sleep disruption become so common?
That is because I get all of the time women coming in and be like, I have to change my pajamas 2 or 3 times during the night because they are just sweating, right? And that is mainly because of the hot flashes and the night sweats that come from the erratic estrogen. And that's where it comes from. So the sleep is awful. And then when our estrogen is high, our progesterone is low, and then we can't sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. Brain fog is something many women mention.
Yeah.
What's actually going on there?
Yeah, so our estrogen helps with all of our brain cells. So like I said, it has that protective mechanism around it. It helps with clarity, mental sharpness, all of that. So when our estrogen is kind of all over the place and mostly low, we get that brain fog and we just can't think of things like as quick as we could before. And that's really one of the first things that kind of get to women as well. So that the emotional liability and then the brain fog and memory issues. Yeah.
So how does low estrogen impact mood? Things like irritability or emotional swings?
Yeah, so I mean, it's an emotional swing, right? So it's high and then it's low and then it's high and it's low. It's so rare when you get into that perimenopause phase that your estrogen is actually steady. And so yeah, your body doesn't really know what to do at that point, right? So it's like it's too much, it's too little, and a lot of the symptoms are the same.
And even throughout the day, like it doesn't have to be like
yeah, absolutely.
It's not like weeks at a time, it's like hours.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, oh, wearable data would be so nice. So you can see exactly where you're at when you're having these symptoms, Yep.
So sometimes with these symptoms, joint aches can surprise people. So how is estrogen connected to joint and muscle health?
So it helps with our collagen and our elasticity and that lubrication of our joints. So when that's down, that's why a lot of women who are perimenopausal, postmenopausal, menopausal get frozen shoulder is because all of that is gone. So we don't have that lubrication anymore.
Okay, so why do so many of these symptoms seem unrelated yet stem from the same hormonal shift?
I know, isn't that crazy? Because estrogen is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. I mean, our hormones play a huge role in every single system of our body. And so yeah, we don't give it enough credit as we should. I mean, even today I had a patient who came in with a whole cardiac history, cardiac workup, and it was all negative, and it's because her estrogen is low.
Right.
And so, and of course we want to go through those things. We want to, of course, rule out the worst first. But yeah, it could have saved her so much time and trouble.
Right.
If we could have just really linked it to the thing that's around everywhere.
Causing,
Yeah.
Yep. And I actually read this story about, a long time ago when women would go through perimenopause and menopause, a lot of them would end up in psych wards.
Yes. Yeah. That's where psychosis came from.
Because they really thought that they were psychotic.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it just really makes you think like, oh gosh, when I mean, and it's even happening now, right? Where alcoholics or like a lot of women are using other substances to get through that period of life, which
because
is
they don't understand what's happening.
Right. They can't cope enough, right? Like they don't know that the anxiety, the sleeplessness, the erratic behavior and thoughts are really just because of a hormonal shift and imbalance. Yeah.
And they don't know what to do about it.
They don't. Yeah, which is why we're talking, right?
Yes.
Let's get the word out.
So, can lifestyle changes make a meaningful difference in managing low estrogen symptoms?
And I think that depends on the patient, right? So like the thing with hormones is it's all nuanced. It's all a
Mm-hmm.
case by case basis, and I think that depends on the patient because I'll have people who breeze right through and they have
Right.
no idea that they're even through it,
Mm-hmm.
until they don't have a period.
Yeah.
And I have people who notice it, exactly to the day 15 years before,
Right.
and they are suffering for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it does matter. Regardless, lifestyle changes are going to make a difference, right?
Right.
Keeping our blood sugar balanced are I think what we miss a lot too in just education in general is that our metabolic health is so important to the rest of our body.
Mm-hmm.
We're finding out that our metabolic system and our reproductive system are so close together. One affects the other one very much so. And even now that our neurological system is so close to our metabolic system, and dementia and Alzheimer's are a metabolic disease. So I think really just
Mm-hmm.
keeping our weight in a healthy range, eating appropriately, exercising, sleeping, all of those things, and that blood sugar control does so much more than we give it a credit for.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when should someone consider talking to a provider about their symptoms?
Oh, I think right away.
Yeah.
I think you try those lifestyle changes first, right? Do
Mm-hmm.
that, absolutely. But I think right away we over at Urban, and I'm hoping most places, we don't give just a pill for an ill. We want to get to the root
Right.
cause, of course,
Yep.
but there are supplements that we can actually direct as well as in addition to the bioidentical hormones or anything prescribed. So
Right.
it's not just prescription medications. Yeah.
What do you wish more women understood about estrogen and menopause?
That you're not crazy.
Yeah.
You're
You don't
not
belong in a psych
crazy.
ward.
Yeah, you're maybe a little crazy,
Yeah.
but there's ways that we can fix it. You're not crazy. Advocate for yourself.
Mm.
Talk to your husband about what's going on, or your significant other, because I feel
Right.
like a lot of that is so misunderstood. And my wife is crazy. No, she just needs some help and she needs a little love and an extra hug
Mhm.
and then to come see us, right? Like that's
Yeah,
what she
and something
needs.
that I think we kind of missed was the vaginal dryness issue.
Yeah.
And so that's something that a lot of times causes so many issues in relationships too because
Oh,
it's uncomfortable.
yes. Oh,
And so
yes. I just had a patient the other day who had extreme vaginal dryness, and so it hurt every time that they had sex.
right.
And I mean, they've been married for 30 something years,
Yeah.
so and she's like, I figured out it's a foreplay issue, and it's because I'm so dry, and I was just ready to get it over with because it hurt so bad. And it's a simple fix. It's a simple
Right.
fix, and you just need to talk about it. And I
Yeah.
I tell my patients all the time, there's no such thing as TMI here. Like,
Hmm.
I want to know everything. I talk about
Right.
it all day long. It's okay to talk. Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't realize it's a hormonal shift. And
Yeah, right. There's nothing
so
wrong
there's
with
a
it.
lot of like guilt and
Yeah,
you know,
shame around it. It
yeah.
doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for someone just starting to notice changes, what's the first step you'd recommend?
Talk to people. Talk to people. Talk to
Yeah.
your mom, talk to your sisters, talk to your girlfriends, like find out what everybody's going through because I do find
Right.
a lot of people are going through the exact same thing
Hmm.
and just I don't know if it's a stigma around it or what it is, but
Hmm.
just don't really want to talk about it. I mean, it is awkward, right?
Right.
But no, we just need, I think, talk to people because then you find out where those providers are that are giving
Right.
help and
Yeah.
and what people have tried and what is really helping
Hmm.
and so forth. So
Yeah.
yeah, talk about it.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing your insight with us today. This was such an important and empowering conversation. And to everyone listening, we're so glad you joined us. If this episode resonated with you, be sure to share it with someone who might need help too. Until next time, stay informed, stay empowered, and we'll see you on the next EmpowerND podcast.